the negative?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, we think we're playing okay. A few really costly skill errors, uncharacteristic skill errors late in the game probably cost us as much as anything. But we thought, in terms of our intent, our effort, all those sort of things, we were pretty good. And we think we'll continue to get better in a lot of areas. So really disappointed the result didn't go away, but in terms of the way we're playing, we think we're building, and we'll get better and still have complete faith that our best is good enough.
A few commentators sort of picked up your ability to spread. It's not quite what it used to be. Do you think that's a fair comment? Is that sort of linked to not having guys like Majinsky and Barco in your side?
I think to external observers, the pace is certainly something that stands out, or the lack of. And when you take out Wojcinski, Varco, Menzel in particular, guys with extreme speed, that's something that's really noticeable from the outside. We don't think it's as big an issue as some external observers, but we do take the point that when those guys come back, we will look a little bit better on the outside.
Scarlett, good chance to come back soon?
Yeah, good chance. Not a definite, but we rate him a good chance. Because it's an unusual type of situation where he had sort of the one soft tissue injury that he recovered from and then rolled his ankle. It's sort of two separate things we're dealing with. We think the soft tissue thing won't be an issue, and we'll give him as long as possible to get over the ankle. So while I'm confident now we won't make the decision until at least Thursday afternoon, we'll certainly name him.
And Christensen?
No, he won't play. No.
He's quite a loss too, looking at that spread thing and pace thing too, isn't
Yeah, he is. Yeah, but we certainly don't think that or a lack of personnel is the critical factor at the moment. The guys that are playing in the side that probably weren't playing last year aren't letting us down, we don't think. We have a few young players that occasionally might struggle for periods in big games, but across the board we don't think that personnel is an issue for us. We're certainly not looking at that and saying when those guys come back we'll be okay. We've got enough talent and enough depth on our list to at least compete against the very best every week.
You tended to win those close games pretty much all year last year, Chris. I mean, what sort of changed, if anything, this year that you maybe sort of not getting over the line with a game like that?
There are a lot of factors, most of them beyond our control. And the most important thing for us is that we recognise that this is a new year, a new team in a new AFL environment. All the other teams that finished below us, we feel have improved. That's certainly been our experience with the 8 teams that we've played. But if you do want to look back to last year, I mean, the biggest difference is we got over the line, perhaps fortunately in a few of those close games, and this year we haven't. We don't think that there's a stark difference in terms of the way we're playing, and that gives us some confidence that we can turn it around and beat every side we play, given we play our best.
So when you say fortunately, you're saying just like luck's played a large game?
I don't think you should discount luck. Yeah, I thought I'd prefer to use the word fortunate, but I thought we were fortunate in round 1 against St Kilda and round 2 against Fremantle, and I think it was round 9 against Carlton. I thought luck was one of the biggest parts of us being able to get over the line, but as I said, we're really keen to focus on 2012. It's a new year, we have new players and we've got new challenges.
Yeah, in the last few years, such a great ability for everyone to sort of play their role. Is there a little bit too much being left to Joel Selwood at the moment, do you think?
We'd like another 2 or 3 players that could play the same way as he does, that's for sure. But no, there's no problem with depth or talent in our midfield. We've got the utmost confidence and faith in Joel Corey and James Kelly and Paul Chapman and all the other guys that go through there. We're certainly not standing here saying, gee, we're a little bit light on for talent and personnel. That's why we're not playing as well as we can.
What are the amount of the criticisms of Josh Hunt the last couple of days?
We accept that the external observers are paid to make comment. I'm not going to engage in any public assessment of Josh. We question ourselves internally every day in virtually everything we do. The only thing I'll say is that those things will stay in-house and Josh has our utmost support.
Did you question his commitment?
Did you speak to him about anything?
Well, we spoke about a lot of things to a lot of players, yeah.
Did you question his commitment in that particular incident, or did he just more misjudge the flight of the ball?
No, I'm not going to comment on my analysis of specific incidents, but as I said, we welcome the external criticisms or otherwise of our performance, but it won't affect the way we handle things internally.
It's a big knock on a player, isn't it, when their courage is questioned? Do you have to have a quick chat to him about that?
Oh, he needs to he needs to know that he has our support, and he knows that unequivocally.
What makes you say confident, Chris? I mean, every week you seem to be sort of saying, you know, we're confident, we're getting there, we're heading in the right direction. You still know the game. What makes you so sure that sort of things are going the right way?
Oh, I think in terms of the way we're playing, we had a bad one against Adelaide. As we stand here now, I think most people accept that Adelaide are a pretty good side. Every other game we've been extremely competitive, and we always felt that our season would build off the back of a solid pre-season, albeit an abbreviated one compared to other clubs. We are designing our year to play our best footy when it counts. Now, you've got to make sure that you get there so that you're competing when it counts. But all the things we've put in place suggest that we will improve.
Are you expecting it to be what slower off the blocks than the rest of the competition kind of thing and catch up as things go on? Is that what you're saying?
It's not completely by design. I mean, I don't think you can say we'll just pace ourselves through the first 20 weeks and then hit our straps when it counts. But I think we are assuming that the season will be one of ebbs and flows. Sides will peak at different times. Some sides will ride the momentum through certain periods of the year and might be fortunate to play sides that are in a little bit of a lull. We know that in today's competition it's extremely tough to maintain your level throughout the whole season. And we've just got to make sure that we play well enough when we're not quite at our peak.
In terms of where you finish, changed a little bit in terms of always the focus is top four, but is it now where you are, it's the focus has just got to be making the eight?
No, well, the long-term focus is something for the external observers. We don't sit down every week and say, righto, where are we going to be in 3 months' time? We focus on each week as it comes, and our expectation is that we'll play well enough every weekend to win every game we play. And at the end of the year, we'll tally up the wins and losses and see where we are, and then focus on doing the very best we can given our ladder position. Hopefully it's top four. If not, then okay, that's not ideal. But if it's top 8, then you've still got to win 4 games to win the flag.
A couple of weeks ago you came up against Brendan Sanderson, who obviously knows the club really well. It's a similar thing with Brendan McCartney this week. Is it a factor when a coach knows the team so well? Yeah,
it's a factor. It can be a little bit overrated in terms of the team. Certainly Brendan knows the individuals extremely well. But I think most sides understand how other teams in the competition play these days. There aren't too many secrets. The opposition analysis is very thorough. We feel like we know how the Bulldogs play. Brendan will have more intimate knowledge of our individuals than we do of the Bulldogs. But look, if it works for them, then it will be assumed that that was a huge factor. And if it doesn't, it will be dismissed.
So they overplayed a bit against Adelaide a couple of weeks ago. I mean, people were saying they shut down Enright, they shut down Mackie. I mean, was that any different to what a lot of other clubs have done?
No. I mean, I hear that a little bit, like, comments like Scarlett's a good player, so you've got to make sure that he doesn't play well, and Enright the same. Enright had 20 possessions as a back pocket against Adelaide. He played pretty well. I didn't see anyone shut down Mackie. I think a lot of people listen to the TV commentators, and those guys are under the pump. They've got to make comments in the heat of the moment without much time for analysis. So I don't think anyone should assume that they don't make mistakes.
Just on the Dogs, sort of, what have you seen as their strengths this season?
Every time I've heard Brendan talk, I think he's mentioned contested ball, and they've certainly improved there. Didn't think they were a bad contested ball side, but their ability to outnumber at the contest and make sure they get enough Bulldogs jumpers in the screen has been probably the highlight of their game. They have been able to possess the ball in their back half and maintain possession as well, which has been positive for them at times. At other times it might have hurt them a little bit. But they look pretty solid across the board. I think they're playing honest footy and the type of footy that we would expect given Brendan McCartney's coaching them.
Got a 6-day break coming off Darwin. Do you think that sort of works in your favour the longer the game goes on?
I don't place too much weight on those sort of things. I think the cumulative effect of short breaks and travel can sometimes play a factor, but as I said after our loss to North Melbourne, I think if you're going to start looking at 6-day breaks and travel as an excuse, then you're seriously clutching at straws.
Just on your contract, Chris, you happy to get that out of the way with such a sort of minimum of fuss?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to stay at Geelong as long as they'll have me. So to have some certainty for not only for me but for the club and our supporters and our players, I think is a positive thing.
And also you've talked about that you're already looking at your 2015 side, and now you know that everything's going to stay together until that time.
Yeah, but I didn't need a contract to assume that was going to happen.
Just quickly going back to last week, even though you didn't get the result, you sort of seen it as a bit of a step forward for the way you're playing.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say, but except for the first half against Adelaide, I would have said that most weeks. I think we're gradually improving. We're on record as saying we're not playing the type of footy that we think we can, but we don't think that that's too far off. And I understand that you're looking for some tangible things there. Will tell us how you think you're going to improve. I could go into great detail about that, but unfortunately that's not stuff that we can talk about in the public arena. You're just going to have to take my word for it that we think we're improving. We think we took a few small steps forward. I mean, winning is the most important thing every week, but a close second is making sure that the way you want to play is improving, and we think we're doing that.